All right, let's talk about a tool of thought you use every single day, probably without even thinking about it. I'm talking about the analogy. Now, if you get this right, you can unlock completely new ways of seeing the world. But if you get it wrong, well, you just end up making things way more confusing. So let's figure out how to master this thing, shall we? So just take a look at these two examples. On the left, you've got writing a book is like going for a walk. I mean, come on, that's a terrible analogy. It completely ignores the struggle, the rewrites, the staring at a blank page. It misses literally everything that makes writing what it is. But then look at the one on the right. A good book is like a good conversation. Now that clicks, right? It captures that feeling of give and take, the new ideas, the way your perspective shifts. This right here is the double-edged sword of analogy we're going to get into. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into that double edge I just mentioned. Then, we're going to break down the anatomy of an analogy, see what makes it tick. After that, I'll give you a super simple 4-step method to build better ones yourself. We'll also cover how to find the breaking point. And trust me, they all have one. And finally, we'll see how this becomes a whole new tool for your own thinking. All right, let's dive right into that first idea, the analogy's double edge. We've already seen a glimpse of how it can create either total confusion or crystal clarity. The difference really is all in how you wield it. You know what's kind of cool about this? This is an analogy about analogies, and it's a really good one. Think about it. A good analogy is like a bridge. It takes that complex, foggy idea that's way over there on the far shore, the thing you don't get, and it connects it to something you know inside and out, something simple and solid right here where you're standing. It lets you walk from the known over to the unknown. But hey, to build a good bridge, you can't just start throwing planks around. You need a blueprint. So for our next section, let's take a look at the anatomy of an analogy. Okay, so every single analogy has two basic parts. First up is what we call the target domain. This is the whole point, the whole reason you're even making an analogy. It's that new kind of abstract or complicated idea you're trying to wrap your head around. It's your destination. And if the target is your destination, then the source domain is your starting point. This is the thing you already know, the familiar, concrete, simple idea you're using to make the comparison. And here is the absolute key, the secret sauce. It's not about things that just look similar. It's about finding a source where the structure and the relationships can shine a light on the hidden structure of your target. Okay, enough with the theory. Let's get our hands dirty. Now for the really fun, practical part, the 4-step method. This is a dead simple process you can start using today to build way better, way more powerful analogies. Let's just walk through this. Step 1, identify the target. You have to be absolutely crystal clear on the one core thing you're trying to explain. Step 2, brainstorm the source. Just think of stuff you know really well that has a similar vibe or a similar set of relationships. Step 3 is where the magic happens. Map the connections. Don't just say A is like B. You have to show how. You have to say, this part of the source connects to this part of the target because. And finally, step 4, which is crucial, refine and test. This is where you have to be honest and find the limits. And that leads us perfectly into our next section, finding the breaking point. See, anyone can make an analogy, but a true master knows how to stress test them, to push them until they snap. Because believe me, every single analogy falls apart if you push it far enough. You have to be relentless and just ask this one simple question. Where does this analogy break down? Pushing a comparison until it fails is actually how you get a deeper understanding of both the thing you're explaining and the limits of your own analogy. It's a kind of intellectual honesty that just makes your thinking so much sharper. And they usually break in a few common ways. Sometimes you might focus on attributes that are totally irrelevant, and that just creates more confusion. Or you might create a false equivalence, making two very different things seem equal. You could also just grossly oversimplify. That's exactly what happened with our writing a book is like a walk example. It was simple, sure, but it was also just plain wrong. But the biggest danger of all is stretching that comparison way too far, trying to make it explain everything when it was only good for one specific thing. Okay, for our final section, let's zoom all the way out. Because up until this point, we've basically been treating analogies as a tool for communication, for explaining things to other people. But their real power, their secret power, is as a tool for your own thinking. And this is a really profound shift in thinking. Analogies aren't just for packaging up what you already know to give to someone else. No, they are for discovering things you didn't know in the first place. When you force your brain to try and map one idea onto another, you suddenly start to see new patterns and ask new questions you never would have thought of. It's like a creative engine for innovation. Which brings us to this final, really powerful idea. Some have argued that the greatest leaps in human thought are just new analogies. I mean, think about it. Seeing the atom as a tiny solar system, or understanding the flow of electricity like it was water. Our biggest breakthroughs often come from seeing a familiar pattern in a completely unfamiliar place. That's the real power here. So the question I'll leave you with is, what new connection will you discover today?